Hello, everyone. Today, we're diving into the incredible story of a visionary leader. Picture this, a tiny island, just 580 square kilometers, with no natural resources, surrounded by bigger neighbors, barely a blip on the world map. Fast forward a few decades, and it's a global powerhouse, gleaming skyscrapers, top-tier education, and one of the richest places on Earth. That's Singapore. And the man behind this miracle? Lee Kuan Yew. Today, we're exploring the story of Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore, a tale of grit, vision, and a leader who turned impossible into done. Are you ready? Let's get started. Lee Kuan Yew was born on September 16, 1923, in Singapore, then a British colony. His full name was Harry Lee Kuan Yew. He grew up in a two-story house at 92, Kampong Java Road. His father, Lee Chin Koon, worked for Shell Oil, and his mother, Chua Jim Neo, was just 16 when he was born. His family was part of the Straits Chinese, third-generation immigrants from China, well-off and speaking English at home. He attended Raffles Institution, where he excelled in his studies and showed early signs of leadership. But at 18, his education was interrupted by World War II when the Japanese invaded Singapore, 1942 to 1945. He witnessed the brutality of war, executions, starvation, and the vulnerability of his homeland. These experiences shaped his determination to build a Singapore that would never be weak again. After the war, Britain regained control, but Lee was done with colonial rule. In 1946, he moved to the United Kingdom to study at the London School of Economics before transferring to Fitzwilliam College, Cambridge. At Cambridge, he read law and graduated with first-class honors, proving his academic brilliance. It was also at Cambridge that he met Kwa Geok Choo, his future wife and an exceptional scholar who once beat him in exams. They married in 1950. While abroad, Lee developed a strong passion for politics, realizing that leadership was the key to building a strong and independent nation. Returning to Singapore as a qualified lawyer, he was ready to fight for independence and the rights of his people. His early experiences, both in war-torn Singapore and in the world-class education system of the UK, shaped his ambition to build a modern and successful Singapore. Upon returning to Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew saw that his homeland was still under British colonial rule. Determined to change that, he co-founded the People's Action Party, PAP, in 1954 alongside like-minded visionaries who believed in self-governance. Lee's vision was clear: he wanted Singapore to be independent, prosperous, and strong. But the journey was tough. Singapore was small, poor, and had no resources. Many doubted it could survive alone. In 1963, Singapore joined Malaysia, hoping for a stronger future. But racial and political tensions made the union unsustainable. In 1965, Singapore was expelled from Malaysia. Imagine this: you're told that your country must survive alone, with no army, no resources, and no guarantee of survival. How would you react?
You see, the whole of my adult life,
Lee's on TV, crying, real tears. He says, "For me, it's a moment of anguish. That moment of heartbreak showed his deep emotional connection to his country, yet within moments, he wiped his tears, stood up, and declared, "We will survive. We will thrive." This was the beginning of a new Singapore. When Malaysia dumped Singapore, he worked 18-hour days. On August 9, 1965, he declared independence, and from that moment, he wasted no time. The world thought Singapore would fail. It had no natural resources, no military, and no economy. But Lee Kuan Yew had a vision. He focused on three key areas. Strong government. He built a corruption-free, disciplined government. Economic growth. He invited foreign investment and turned Singapore into a global business hub. Education and workforce. He emphasized skills training to create a world-class workforce. One of his most unforgettable statements was, "I spent a whole lifetime building this, and as long as I am in charge, nobody is going to knock it down."
I've spent a whole lifetime building this. And as long as I'm in charge, nobody's going to knock it down.
He was determined to make Singapore succeed against all odds. Under Lee Kuan Yew's leadership, Singapore became a global economic powerhouse. Clean and green Singapore. He introduced strict laws to keep the city clean and sustainable. World-class education. Singaporean students became some of the best in the world. Housing and infrastructure. He built modern housing, clean water systems, and an efficient transport network. Multicultural harmony. He promoted racial and religious unity, making Singapore one of the most peaceful nations. One of his most famous speeches was, "I have spent my life, so much of it, building up this country. There's nothing more that I need to do. At the end of the day, what have I got? A successful Singapore." He was also known for his bold, no-nonsense approach to protecting Singapore's sovereignty. He once said, "Singapore is like the durian, try and squeeze it, you get hurt." This statement reflected his firm stance against external threats, making it clear that despite Singapore's small size, it would never be weak or easily pushed around. Another well-known quote, "If Singapore is a nanny state, then I am proud to have fostered one." His pragmatic and forward-thinking leadership turned Singapore into one of the richest and safest nations in the world. Lee Kuan Yew served as Singapore's first Prime Minister from 1959 to 1990. He is remembered as the founding father of modern Singapore. From a third-world fishing village to a first-world nation, all in one generation. Even after stepping down, he continued to guide the nation. He passed away in 2015 at the age of 91, but his legacy lives on. Obama, yep, Barack, called him a giant of history. Sure, he had flaws, some say too strict, too controlling. But he said, "I did what worked." You can't deny the outcome. His story teaches us valuable lessons. Hard work pays off, nothing comes easy. Success requires dedication and persistence. Courage to face challenges, no matter how difficult life gets, never give up. Vision and leadership. A great leader doesn't just think about today but plans for the future. Lee Kuan Yew's story proves that with determination and hard work, anything is possible. His journey from a young man fighting for independence to the leader of a thriving nation is truly inspiring. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What English lessons do you want to learn next? What topics interest you for future videos? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll make a video just for you. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content. See you next time.